Countries around the world are struggling to save wetlands. To give us more perspective is a well-known U.S. scholar on this subject, William Mitsch. He's director of the Everglades Wetland Research Park at Florida Gulf Coast University. He wrote the book, Wetlands, which provides an understanding of wetlands, how they work, and why we can't live without them. So let's start with that if we can. Why can't we live without wetlands? Why are they so important?
Well, thank you for inviting me to this program. I think wetlands are so important because they do so many things for us. We call them ecosystem services, as was described early in this program. They clean up the water, they prevent or mitigate floods, they protect coastlines, they provide biodiversity. And now the new thing on the list is that they also probably the best place for carbon to be sequestered out of the atmosphere and stay put.
Now, it sounds like they are vitally important. We featured a piece on how much of the wetlands in China are disappearing. How prevalent is this in other parts of the world?
Well, the report that was mentioned earlier, I know those statistics. It says something like 50 to 70% of the wetlands of the world are lost in the 20th century. I'm going to investigate that number to see if it's true. I'll be going down to the big Ramsar meeting in Uruguay in a couple weeks. But the numbers are alarming, and there's no number of studies that have suggested that we're just losing wetlands in the world at a great rate. Now that contrasts with what we did in the United States. We turned them almost into legal entities, which I'm not recommending at all because you need too many lawyers, but we've protected them to the point where there's only maybe about 1% of the loss of wetlands in the United States now versus what it was 40 years ago. So you can slow it down through protection, but it takes a lot of attention by the government to do so.
You mentioned the Ramsar Convention, which is coming up soon, and this basically is all about protecting wetlands through local, national, and international cooperation. Tell us about that meeting, and what do you think are some of the things that are going to be discussed, and how effective will it be in tackling this problem?
Okay, well, first of all, Ramsar is an international convention or treaty, and it involves about 170 contracting parties or countries. And they will meet once every 3 years. This meeting is one that happens only once every 3 years, and decide general policies of protection of wetlands around the world. There's no other organization like it. And to my knowledge, I'm not a detailed person on how Ramsar works, but I think any resolution they pass by consensus. It can get all 160 countries in the world to agree on things, and that alone is amazing. So I think it's a great opportunity for the world to recognize, and perhaps these statistics that you cited earlier in the paper will galvanize them to say enough is enough, and we've just got to stop this loss of wetlands in the world because of all the values that we've described. They're sort of the canary in the atmosphere, you know, the canary in the biosphere. Wetlands are so easily destroyed. You can take away the water because they're very shallow very easily. You can overflood them very easily. So I think they're a symptom of the ecosystem that really says we're screwing up the planet.
You mentioned 160 countries trying to come into agreement, but I know that individuals are watching this broadcast and they're probably very alarmed at this information. What can we do as individuals to help?
Well, I think as individuals, you have to get in touch with your government agencies. There are many NGOs that you can join. Every town has a little wetland club anymore, and especially in China. China has really embraced wetlands, and many times I've been there. I think there's a wetland park, and that's what they call them, in almost every major city. We don't have anything like that in the States. We have a few, but not in every city. So there's many opportunities for you to get involved in wetlands, understand how they work, understand how they function, and how vulnerable they are to drainage and destruction, and even climate change, of course.
William, thanks so much for your insights. Really appreciate it.